When the whole internet thought that the D'Amelio sisters would be replacing the Kardashians, nothing seemed out of pocket. But after a series of lies, disrespect, mocking, and simply being outright boring, this couldn't be further from the truth. To begin with, we have to start with one simple fact. None of the D'Amelios expected this at all. Charli and Dixie were nothing but normal school students who were bored in class one day, so when Charli decided to whip out her phone in class and film this...
Hey, did you know 1 out of 3 hoes are mad? For real? Well, I'm not mad. I'm not mad either.
Hoes mad! Hoes mad!
She wouldn't have expected anything of it. But fast forward 3 years later, having over 200 million followers combined didn't seem to be the light at the end of the tunnel, because to majority of people online, the family is known for being famous for nothing. After the Charli D'Amelio challenge started to become a trend on TikTok, people would go viral by completely overreacting to Charli's TikToks, which led even more people to question why Charli was famous in the first place. With her description literally reading, "Don't worry, I don't get the hype either." But the first real trend that people capitalized off was recreating her intro on her first YouTube video.
Hey guys, it's Charli and I'm super excited to be sharing with you my first ever YouTube video on my YouTube channel.
With others mocking her like this.
So guys, today I have AIDS. Yes, I know, a traumatic experience, and I probably will die in a few years.
Howdy there, neighbor. I am legally obligated to inform you that I have just moved into the neighborhood and I am in fact a convicted.
But after signing with United Talent Agency in January of 2020, this is where the business side of the family began showing. It was also at this point where the D'Amelios' mum and dad began getting on camera as well, only further increasing their virality. It was around this time too when the sisters created their own podcast called Two Chicks, but that wasn't much of a success as the first video only gathered 18,000 views, which in comparison to their tens of millions of TikTok followers at the time is basically no one. But it gets worse as every episode after then struggled to gain over 4,000 views, and then finalizing the podcast only 17 episodes in. And this doesn't even touch on the TV series Attaway General that Dixie starred in, which they claim to be a medical procedural with humor, excitement, and high stakes for high schoolers. But after everyone had realized just how bad the acting truly was...
What are you doing?
Oh.
Don't come any closer.
I don't think that's gonna hurt anyone.
Depends where I put it.
You're new TV, aren't you?
Nicely done, Sherlock. Now what are you doing? Do you always sneak up on people when they're sleeping?
Actually, I had a reason to be in here. Some of us have work.
Am I supposed to congratulate you? Oh, here they are.
It's not a surprise that the top comment is, "I deserve an Oscar for watching this whole thing," and when you check the rating, it couldn't be performing worse as it's a 1 out of 10 stars. After the D'Amelio YouTube channel launched and gathered a nice 1.5 million subscribers, the family side of the D'Amelios seemed to be smooth sailing. However, after the first episode of Dinner with the D'Amelios went live, nobody saw them the same ever again. Charli would lose over 1 million followers in a single week, and it was all over 6 words. After sitting down with James Charles to have dinner with him, everybody expected everything to be normal. But the chef of the house would serve everyone a dish that contained snails, and as he tried to convince Dixie to try them, this is what happened.
You're good. See? It sometimes happens when... Oh god. Don't be so dramatic.
Excuse yourself.
Is she being real?
Then Charli would follow up by stating,
Do we have any dino nuggets?
Ew.
and just being blatantly rude to both the chef and James the entire night. It was obvious that the parents were trying to make the situation more comfortable for James as he was the guest to their house, but after Dixie threw up at the table, the comments reflected this as much as you'd expect. James should receive an award for just being able to stay through that whole thing. Dixie's reaction to that food is the same reaction I have to their TikToks. And somebody even went as far to timestamp every single thing that happened throughout the night that was rude and disrespectful, gaining over 1,000 likes in the process. Even Mark stated,
"So this is the first and last show that we're doing here."
and as he was obviously joking in the video, it turned out to be the truth, as the backlash showed them what the community really thought of dinner with the D'Amelios. Both Charlie and Dixie would then later on go and apologize about what had happened, and Dixie said that it was out of context as to why they were getting hate.
I've had. So I would never in any way want to be taken as disrespectful, especially from an out of context 15-second clip.
But with everybody having just seen the entire video, they knew what the real truth was. The hype around the D'Amelio house didn't seem to last long though, as after 18 million people had seen the Dinger video, the video afterwards would only gain 1.5 million views, then 600,000, then 200,000, and the most recent video gaining literally 5,000 views. From normal life to Hollywood, the D'Amelio show was launched, but that ended up being an ultimate fail too. The family was just too boring for a show to cover their daily lives, as they lived just like any other family would, except for the fact that they're millionaires. Over on YouTube, the introduction to each season would gain a couple 100,000 views. Well, some of them. But what's interesting is that a video by Drew Gooden, The D'Amelio Show Confuses Me, gained 6.5 million views. This shows that far more people are interested in wondering why she is famous, as to the fact of actually watching them, because they just don't see them as a likable family.
My original take was, this family is so boring, oh my god, why is this a show? See, I'd been really intrigued by the idea of the D'Amelio Show ever since I first watched a promo, I think it was last year.
All right, so what do you think is going to happen on this show?
Are you like flipping tables?
It was so awkward and forced and made a lot of people wonder why the hell they were even making this. Fast forward to a few months ago, they released a more in-depth trailer of what to expect, and it featured some unfortunate editing.
Being normal kids, that doesn't change with following.
I still have to make my bed.
I'm sorry, did you just say she still has to make her bed?
And the most recent controversy Charlie found herself in was not too long ago, as she released her new snacks in Walmarts across the country. So she decided to do what every good Samaritan does and dressed up as an employee to help scan people's items at the checkout. Except that's not what she did at all. She's not helping, she's cosplaying working as a class cashier just for shits and giggles to entertain herself, where she can be seen posing during the middle of a shift. I wish I had enough money to cosplay as a retail worker, so fun being in the working class, a commenter wrote. I can barely afford to live as a retail worker, but glad you're having fun, lol, another wrote. But despite all of this controversy, many leave the sisters with the quote, "Why let Hollywood destroy your family for their entertainment?"